Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first DCT podcast of 2026. Can you believe it, Diane? We've reached 2026. What's that feel like for you?
So say what, sorry?
What's that feel like for you?
Like nice to have a new year, fresh start. Comes with new challenges because we finished the year on a low a little bit, but never mind, we'll get back and we'll get there.
We will plug on, push on, and perhaps we should bring back those mugs. Keep calm and carry on. I feel like now would be a good time in the UK for that.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got a guest called Scarlet Briggs who's coming to join us today. We're going to find out what Scarlett is up to. She's right at the sort of beginning of her career journey, and she's going to need to answer what kind of icing she is as well. So giving her a chance to think about that before we bring her in. I can see her smiling in the background. But this is Scarlett, and she is going to talk to us about a project that she's involved with that's based around university. So Scarlett, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we do normally ask people, you're going to be a bit of a different guest because normally people have had like a long career journey when they come on and they've done a bit of this and they've done a bit of that and then they've ended up where they are. But you're right at the beginning of it. Yeah. But where you are at the moment in kind of your career journey, what kind of icing are you?
I think I'm like a chocolate hazelnut icing.
Very specifically.
It's a little bit plain because I've just started, but it's got that hint of hazelnut in there, like the little bit of spice that you need to start your journey off.
Oh, that's amazing, that's Scarlett.
What a great answer. What a fantastic answer. Yeah. Okay. People, if you're watching, if you want a bit of chocolate hazelnut in your business, Scarlett's the one to watch. Okay. So Scarlett, before we start talking about the project, tell us a little bit more about you. So where are you from?
Okay, so I'm from Derbyshire. Yeah. People often suspect I'm from much more south because my accent's a little bit posh, but I am just from Derbyshire, the Midlands.
Wow.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on here.
Where did the posh accent come from then?
I don't know. I really don't know. All my friends sound the same. But I guess I'm like South Derbyshire. We're not really near the city, so we all just have our own accent that's a little bit posh. But I don't mind it, so it's okay.
Okay. So where did you grow up?
Yeah, here in Derbyshire.
Is it a little village? Is it? Or
it is a little village. I guess a little town.
Right.
Yeah. Lots of fields, lots of farms, quite boring.
Okay. So any before we get into what your degree is and whatever, any particular hobbies kind of growing up, anything?
I was quite athletic. I did a lot of running, netball. I'm quite tall, so it kind of made it a bit easier
netball,
for me.
Scarlett, what position are you?
I was centre.
Oh, was you? Which with your height?
I don't really play anymore. I've kind of lost my competitive edge, but yeah.
So you go and play for the university team now?
No, I was a bit scared that everyone would be much more competitive than me, and that I'd be a bit taken advantage of on the pitch. Like I left it to
on goal shooter, you'd be fine with your height.
Yeah, goal shooter as well sometimes.
Oh, absolutely, straight over the heads of everybody else. Now, where are you studying?
University of Liverpool. So
lovely.
Much different than my home in Derby. A little bit bigger city, but I love it there. So
yeah. What was it? Was it a bit of a culture shock when you first came to Liverpool?
It wasn't a huge culture shock because it is a city, but it's quite a small city, I would say, in comparison to like Manchester or London or whatever. So I found it easy to settle in, and everyone's really lovely there. So I found it home when I got there.
Cool. And what are you studying?
I'm studying English language, and I'm in my final year this year, which is really sad. I'm going to be so sad to leave uni.
Well, tell me, right, before we go on to the project, because that's in a slightly different arena, what's your favourite part about studying English language? What's the best area of that topic that you like studying?
I really we do a topic called globalization, and we look at how dialects from all over England kind of have developed
and like
intertwined together, and it's quite interesting because you don't necessarily think about people's accents or their dialects when you're talking to them. It's only really when you like study something like that you can really get a grasp of like, oh, that's why they talk like that. And like
Did
you
you
know,
within
Scouse
that?
accent,
Did you study? Have you studied dialectal change? Have you studied like how dialects have changed? Yeah, because I did as well. That's
you?
fascinating. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah.
yeah. Because we don't how we sound now isn't necessarily how we used to sound.
No,
Yeah,
because we derived from like Germanic Latin and stuff like that. So yeah, we sounded a little bit more like the Vikings then, I guess.
yeah, we do. But also like how people have traded and how trade has brought people from one area to another within the UK has then made dialects change over
Yeah,
the years. It's
yeah,
really fascinating. Yeah, because
definitely.
people from down south. What's your favourite dialect in the whole of the UK?
I think I have to say Scouse.
Oh, you have to say.
I have
You,
to, and
you
it's
do
so
now.
unique. It's so specific and unique from every
Yeah.
other accent. I have
Yeah.
to say it. It's
Is there
really
one?
cool.
Is there one kind of Scouse word that you couldn't understand at first that you do now?
There's a lot of slang.
Yeah.
I love when people say la at the end of a sentence. Like, it kind of is quite, you feel like their friend and it's quite nice.
I love that. Diane, what's your favourite bit of Scouse?
I'd probably say like a lot. Like a lot of people in Scouse say like or boss. See, for me, Scarlett, la used to wind me up when I was working at McDonald's. That's all the lads would say. Every 2 minutes, I'd be like, "Shut up, la!" So it's like, it's funny to see that that's what you like. But I think the Scouse accent and the way we are, that's the friendliness that comes across, isn't it? Where you've just said them words that we use is where it feels friendly, putting things at the end. We're very bad at like calling people mate or love or, adding them extra little words at the end. And some people don't like that though. They're like, I'm not your mate.
You won't remember this, Scarlett, but when I was younger, and Diane will remember this, I think, as well. But there used to be a very famous comedian, well, he's still around, called Harry Enfield, who used to take the rip out of Scouse people. He used to have like the big fuzzy hair and like do the two Scousers and whatever. And that's where like most of us grew up with our kind of stereotypes of Scouse people. Completely wrong, of course. Completely wrong to some degree. Diane's saying. So Scarlett, tell us a little bit about this project.
Okay, so during my final year, I got the opportunity to join a placement with uni as one of my modules, which I thought was a really cool idea. And so I definitely wanted to take a hold of that. So I got the opportunity to start working with UK Unplugged. We create like little activity boxes for kids who are on the mental health waiting list. And it gives them an activity to do to kind of open up and prepare themselves for when they get off the list and get to speak to a professional. So they're more confident and open and can actually help themselves in a way, because they're not shy and hidden away like they would be without the boxes. So it's a really cool thing to be a part of.
So I got the opportunity to come. So you have to present it as part of your degree. So you have to present basically to sell it to us as a product. So I know you want to maybe get into marketing in the future, Scarlett. So we'll try and plug you into a role there if anybody's watching and listening and they like what you're saying. But everybody really puts so much detail into the boxes. You had a lot of fun even at your age, didn't you? Working with the boxes and doing it. And one question I asked every single person was, especially for your age, is you're very much in the technical world growing up compared to obviously Graham and I. And this is about taking people away from technology when the world is going a million miles an hour for AI and for technology and stuff. One of my questions, do you see the benefit now of why face-to-face and personal interaction and etc. is so important in this day and age?
Yeah, definitely. When I was doing the boxes and preparing for the pitch night, me and a couple of my course friends, we actually did the activity box ourselves, and we put our laptops and our phones down and we did the box, and we did every single activity from the box, and we had so much fun doing it. We're in this little room in the English building, so we had to rummage through bins to find like recycling that we could use for the boxes, and we had to ask lecturers for pens and scissors and glue sticks, and it really bonded us. We'd not really met much before, and in doing that we became really good friends. And also we'd realized that a few hours had gone by and we hadn't picked up our phones and we hadn't picked up our laptops, and it made us realize these boxes actually do work. Like, we're much older than the demographic that they're set out for, and we really enjoyed them, 20, 21 years old. We found them really fun. So I can see how the boxes and just face-to-face interaction really can help people connect and just improve your mental health that way. Like, I felt really good afterwards of making new friends and stuff. So yeah.
So if you was to compare how you felt playing with that box with your team to playing an online game, for instance, with your friends in a forum, what would you say was better?
I think the fact that we could have the physical rapport, like we could see what each other were enjoying. I could see them enjoying it, which made me enjoy it more. Whereas virtually, you can't really do that. It's harder to actually see what they're enjoying. So yeah, I definitely found that cool. Yeah.
Do you want to talk to us about some of the things that are going in these boxes then?
Yeah. So they're about 10 hours of fun, we say. So there's a lot of things in the boxes and they all vary completely. So we've got a space box, which is my personal favorite, and it has like a book with loads of baking stuff in it. So there's these star cookies that you can make. It came with this little paper rocket ship that we coloured in and we glued together, and we found that fun. There's like a Japanese box which has a key ring and a little sushi clay moldable toy, and it's really cool. There's so many different boxes with so many different things in them. There's also a lot of games in them, which adds to the longevity because you can replay a game so many times and have so much fun with it each time. And there's a lot of learning involved too, because a lot of the games have questions and answers. So the kids who are playing with it, they really do learn a lot from the boxes as well. And then they can go off and tell their friends or their parents what they've learned from the box, which I think is really cool.
Cool. Yeah. What have you learned about mental health yourself from being part of the process?
Well, I didn't realise that the Wirral actually suffers from the worst depression in the country. There's 21% of depression in the Wirral compared to 13% of the rest of the country, which I was really shocked by. I couldn't believe it. I was wondering, why is it that the Wirral suffers so badly compared to the rest of the country? So I learned that, and I found that really interesting. And also the fact that a lot of these kids who were in the wait list, they wait over a year for help, which is awful. These kids are struggling, and that's why they're on the wait list. So you can't expect them to wait a whole year for support, which is why the boxes are so good, because they kind of help fill that gap.
Why do you think that it's so high in the Wirral compared to other parts of the country?
It is really hard to say. I mean, maybe it's that they're just kind of being disregarded. It needs to change, definitely. But yeah, it's hard to say why. It really doesn't make much sense. But hopefully with this UK Unplugged project, we can try and change that and try and help the people in the Wirral.
Would you say any of that is linked to sort of economic situation in that area, Diane?
Yes, so for me, potentially, and I hope I don't say anything incorrectly, but some parts of the Wirral, are quite poor areas. So it becomes a bit of a cycle, doesn't it? Becomes a vicious cycle. But also there's some parts where are quite affluent as well in the Wirral. So you could argue there's a balance of both, in the sense that technology, for instance, can be one of the reasons why mental health is higher. So, some parents would maybe be able to afford more for their children to have iPads, computers, things like that. But also, because of that, I think a lot of other families would try and keep up with the Joneses, should we say, try and keep up. And so everybody would have that type of things. And also for the lower families, like I know for me, I brought my son up on my own. So I work like 2-3 jobs, you know, at a time, you know, and Thomas would have his iPad. Now, my son's gone a different way, like he has got Asperger's, but it's helped his intelligence. We were actually talking about this yesterday because he's writing his for his masters for Oxford and Cambridge, and he was like, oh, when does he have his DS, when's this? But he's always used his technology for educational purposes, which is why he's so bright. But not everybody does, and not everyone's in that realm of life. But I also think if you look at, I don't know whether you've seen a TED podcast where the little girl presents and talks about why peekaboo is important for babies, and she talks about, like, shows this video where the baby's trying to get the parents' attention and they're on the phone constantly, so then the baby's crying, the baby's doing this, and then shows a video where she's playing peekaboo and the baby's all excited and stuff, and it's basically saying how our brains develop the most from 0 to 5 years of age, and that what you're taught as a small child, what peekaboo teaches you is safety, because you go away and you come back, you go away, you come back. It sounds so simple, but when you strip it all apart, like the psychological, and I just think as time's gone with technology, like, I'll give you an example. I was at my friend's last night. She got a 7-month-old baby, and she was like about to swipe on the phone. She couldn't even see what to do at that age. So I just think that's where technology not helping people. Does that make sense? That we've got to have a better balance as parents from day dot. And that's hard because the world's in a bit of a crisis right now. You know, you need to work, you probably need to do more hours, you need to do more things just to keep your head above water. So it's very hard, isn't it, to have the balance. So I think some of it comes down to that as well. Like, I know as a single parent, and a lot of people over in the world will be, it's guilt, mum, isn't it? So you get your kid the iPad, or you get them the DS, or you get them technical things that everybody wants. Does that make sense? And then they're probably on them a little bit more because you're having to work and not there as much as, you know, it was back in the day when we were growing up, you know. I think.
I was just doing some looking up whilst you were talking, and it seems to me, looking at some of the stuff that's coming back, it says that there's a lot of it they feel is because of a strong association between depression and social economic deprivation, higher unemployment, lower income, poorer housing, limited opportunities. So, you know, some of those things seem to be in that particular area, leading to those kind of figures. And especially maybe if you've got quite concentrated pockets where you've got rich and poor next to each other.
Yeah.
That, you know, nobody likes looking at somebody else who's you know, out of what the situation that they're finding themselves in. So
yeah,
and maybe technology is an element of that as well, in that, you know, I feel like years ago we centered, when we were in difficult times or whatever, we centered around community, but a lot of technology, although it connects us to people, seems to have isolated people in terms of community. So,
yeah. And I think talking to you, all of you, Scarlett, on the night, is definitely, I was really coming away smiling. And even before, when you were talking about it, like, we have loads of conversation about this, don't we, Graham, on the podcast? Like, seeing your generation be like, actually, yeah, physical and one-to-one, like, communication. But like, we're on digital now, and it's great because we don't all have to meet up and stuff, but there's no better, like, feeling than being able to feel someone's emotions. You can't feel that on a screen, like, as much as you can when you're together, and like, that's priceless, isn't it? You know, and will give you better skills when you go to get a job. And I probably said that to a lot of you as well, is try and get your softer skills higher. Because, yeah, it's great, you've got your degree and you'll need your degree and you need all that. But your softer skills will be what probably sets you head and shoulders above the rest with other people. Yeah.
Scarlett, in terms of what it's taught you as a person, full stop, has it changed your mind at all about where you saw your career going, being involved in this?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, when I started uni, I thought I wanted to go into journalism, and that was a big thing for me. But then slowly marketing became a thing, and I knew that communication was kind of what I'm good at. So I knew I needed to be in something to do with communication, and my degree helps with that as well. And this, being on the marketing team, it really let me see what it's like to be a marketer, I guess. And yeah, it's definitely convinced me that this is something that I'd really want to look into.
You've got a very creative mind, Scarlett. The way you answered that question at the beginning was brilliant. You know, so you've definitely got that mind of being a marketer, of how to see things and recreate it in a different way to attract people. You know, the way you answered that was brilliant. So I think that's definitely a career for you. Like,
thank you.
And also, interestingly, I feel like, I mean, one of the things I've started talking about early in 2026 is I actually think a lot of marketing is going back into journalism as well. So in a way, I don't think you have to put down your journalistic sort of ambitions either, because one of the things that's being talked about a lot at the moment is the fact that there's a lot of noise out there in especially online, with sort of online marketing, etc. So I think that a lot of content will be driven back towards quite agnostic journalistic content, which actually just tries to, you know, create value for people as opposed to necessarily market people, right? Because I feel like a lot of people are seeing through that. So I would say that you've got an opportunity to blend the two.
Yeah. And you know what? Only yesterday I was asked for a content creator / marketing person. So that role is there. So yeah, definitely I'd agree with Graham there. You know, you could probably really fully combine all of your skills into that role. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know. Yeah, that's cool.
Did you learn things about the other students that you were working with? What did you learn about things like teamwork or you know, working with other people, being able to use other people's skill set? Because again, quite often when you go through university, you do a lot of stuff on your own.
Yeah.
This was an opportunity to work with a group of people. What did you pick up from that side of things?
Well, we actually had an opportunity to make a reel in small groups for the Instagram. You can see that on the UK Unplugged Instagram. And so I got to work with a couple of other students, and my perspective was different to theirs on how we should do the reel. And we came to an agreement in the end, and the reels, I think it's really good. It's pinned on there. And we came to a mutual agreement about how's best to do it. We thought simple is better. We don't want to overcomplicate things because it was a short reel. It didn't need a lot of information. We just wanted to show the box, essentially. So we thought the simpler the better, and the clearer the better. And we all came to a consensus that that's probably what we should do, and we did. And we did good things with it. So.
Well, when we plug you and plug this, Scarlett, comment and put the reel, like put the link or put the link so people can see what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
So with regards to the box, so we have got a purpose of you coming on today, haven't we? Which we really, really want to try and get to.
Yeah.
So what is that? What's your goal as a collective cohort at university?
Yeah. So as a group, we're aiming to raise £6,000 for UK Unplugged, because they're non-profit, so they need as much money as they can get. So we've got many events that are happening and that have happened. So you can look forward to that. In December, we had a bauble painting class, which was really cool. It was only £2 a bauble, and people made superhero ones. They made Christmas ones for their tree. It was really cool. And then coming up, we've got like an open mic night, which is a really cool concept. So that's in February. The date's not confirmed yet, but it will be soon. But it'll be sometime in February. So that's a really cool idea. So you can go and watch, or you can go and be a part of it, whichever you like. I'd definitely be going to watch because I'm not a very good singer.
And what about the boxes themselves? So how much are they to buy?
So they're £25 to buy each, which you know, is the same as like a jigsaw puzzle or, you know, a game like that. Well, this has 10 hours of activities. So I would argue it's a much better deal. You can just buy them from the website. If you wanted to buy one off, you can buy them from the website. And then Diana, she also, she kind of asked the children what they'd like as future boxes, which is really cool. So there'll be new boxes coming out, you know, throughout the year that are created by the children, because the when they're on the wait list, the caregivers kind of ask them what they're interested in, and that they tell them, and they go with that, and then they tell Diana, and she comes up with these incredible boxes that are also eco-friendly, and they're made by students like me. The little individual activities in them are made by students, so I think that's really cool.
Okay, right, this is a tough one, right? Okay. But you look, you don't come on here if you don't want to be challenged a little bit, okay? And there's nothing wrong in whatever you're about to say, okay, right? But obviously this is a great scheme. It's great. It's a great process you're going through. You know, the people that have come up with this have got some great ideas, and the boxes are brilliant ideas. But given the fact you're such a creative young lady, and I think you know, you've got some brain power there as well. If you think that they could implement, if they did this again in the future and they could implement anything differently, do something else differently out of the box, see what I did there? What would you say that perhaps they should do differently?
I think that they could introduce maybe collaborative boxes where they have multiple ideas behind them. So maybe space and Japan, why not? Maybe you know, Egypt and I don't know, animals. Like, combine the boxes so that more kids can enjoy them, and it creates more creativity, because you then imagine, you know, your dog on a pyramid. Why not? I think that's a really cool idea. And then also you could make the boxes so they're kind of group boxes, because at the moment they're kind of for one child. As much as you can do them with family or do them with friends, it would be cool to have a box that's maybe made for 3 or 4 people, so you've each got a place in the box. Maybe introducing board games where there's 4 players or things like that, so that it's even more collaborative, and it kind of not pushes but helps children to really create that bond with other people around them.
I love it. And if someone wanted to buy bespoke boxes, it would be more money, and then more money goes into the system.
Exactly.
Yeah, good, great.
I was just going to ask, I don't know if you know the answer to this, Scarlett. So when we're saying for people to buy the boxes, basically you're asking, can they donate £25 for a box to be made, to be given to the child on the waiting list, just to be clear. Do you know, though, could people actually go on and actually buy a box for their own children? Like, can they actually purchase them? Do you know that?
Yeah, we do markets. So recently in December, we had a Christmas market in uni where me and the other members, we were there and we were like selling them. We had the boxes and we had like little parts of the boxes too. So we had keychains and pins, and people were really enjoying them. They were perfect Christmas presents. So
yeah. Because I think, to your point of, it will help with mental health, people waiting on the waiting list, which is more a priority. But I also think there's probably some people that it just help with, you know, just family get-togethers, like Christmas has just been, and I'm sure pretty much everyone at some point in the UK has sat and played cards or Monopoly or donut ring on the thing or the foam in your face or whatever. We all play games. So at Christmas, it's one of the best times that brings you together, isn't it? So it'd be just great. And I just think for you guys as a cohort, if we could get to that £6,000, so is it May that you've got to get your dissertations in by?
Yeah, it is.
If we could get to that, how amazing would that to be able to write on your dissertation that you achieved that as a group? And that's the main goal, is of helping, Unplugged and helping the kids as well, but then having a double sword that you guys have got a story to tell. I was in a meeting this morning and a guy actually, fractional marketing, was presenting, and that's one of the key things he says is tell a story. If you can tell a story, that story tells, and that becomes your USP and yours. thing. So if you could talk about this, you're going to go on so many interviews, right? All of you, to get to where you are, and they're all going to ask you what challenge have you had, or what projects have you been involved in, and to be able to sit there and say, do you know what? And this is why I offered just to use this platform to do this, because I'm probably more excited for you to want to get there, but for you to be able to sit in front of an employer or put it on your CV to say, well, we were involved in a project and we managed to, because the whole budget that they want to raise this year is 6k. So imagine if we get them to that halfway through the year and then they can double it. It'll just be an immense story to sell. So please, people, please donate. Businesses can donate, can't they? Businesses can use their charitable funds. They can go on. They know around. We'll put all the links on when we're sending everything where to go. Well, we want to try and make a campaign as well now. So each of you are going to come on, aren't you? Yeah. Every few weeks and someone, so we can hear about their thoughts as well. And we want to try and make this go like viral or whatever, because that would just be brilliant for you all, for your future. Yeah, that's what we're for.
I think it would. Now, Scarlett, I love to have massive ideas when it comes to these sort of things, right? Go as big as you possibly can, right? Distribution of these boxes, getting the boxes back out there. Have you thought about like how you could make that bigger?
So at the moment, the CEO, Diana, she's incredible, but she aims to do everything eco-friendly. So she likes to deliver the boxes by e-bike,
right,
which might reduce the numbers that we can get out. But the fact that the box is eco-friendly is a huge selling factor, because there's not many things at all that are completely eco-friendly. So I think that's a huge thing that can drive the boxes. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
So what we could do is have a bike ride day where we've got to all go and deliver boxes.
Yeah.
On the ones you can hire, around town.
Yeah, why not? On the boys.
Or could you get someone like, I don't know, could you get someone like InPost involved or whatever? Could you get people to pick these boxes up and go and then put them in work with someone like InPost and go and put them in lockers, and then people can buy and then send a code to a child who can then go and pick one up?
Do you know what?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And Scarlett, after this I'll introduce you to, there's actually a postman in the Wirral who, his name's Paul. He walks around and delivers everything by post, and it's cheaper than a normal post. So actually Diana might know him because it's from the same group where I know Diana from, potentially. But yeah, there's an actual postman in the Wirral who does that, so we could maybe collaborate with Paul.
Yeah, I would love to collaborate with Paul.
Hey! This is one of the things you must have discovered by doing this project, right? That having ideas with people and just having these conversations and being creative, it's so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
My screen time on my phone's gone down by a lot since joining. So yeah, brilliant. I used to be scared to look at it, and now I'm happy with the number that it's at. So
yeah.
How do you feel with your mental health then from that, Scarlett? Do you feel like it's improved or?
Yeah, I mean, after the session that I had with my friends on the course that I told you about earlier, I definitely felt very happy afterwards. And that was in between lectures too. So I went into the second lecture of the day feeling much happier than I did the first one. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I'm fascinated with communication. That's what I did a degree in. I did journalism as well. I was a broadcast journalist. What do you think you've learned about communication through this whole process?
I think that I've learned that there really is no limits. You really can do anything. I'd never imagined that Diana would be able to make a whole company eco-friendly and deliver on bikes. And, I would never imagine that. And that's all through her communication skills of being able to make the company herself. You can really do anything. And that's what I've realized from doing this. There's really no limits. So.
And have you learned anything about your own communication style and like anything about? I always love to talk about assumptions because I feel like a lot of us, especially because of like phone technology and whatever, we kind of assume that when we've said something that it's understood in a particular way. Have you found, like, by the difference between having like face-to-face communication with people rather than all over the phone all of the time, that you're understanding how your information, how what you say is received a lot better?
Yeah, I definitely found on the pitch night that talking to face-to-face, it really resonated with people a lot more than talking online. A lot of the events team and the corporate team, who are also in the placement, they do a lot of emailing and phoning people up and messaging on LinkedIn. And they've said that they really found that it resonated with them more as well, because they got like a instant response, instant feedback, whereas you kind of are left on edge a bit with online technology. You kind of say what you want to say and then hope that it's going to be received well, whereas in real life you kind of know how it's received right off the bat, and hopefully it's good all the time. But
well, Diane knows all about that, don't you, Diane?
Yes.
With what you do.
Yeah. No, but going on to that, right, and I spoke to a few of you about this, is and I throw you with this, and Graham will tell you I'm the least technical person in the world, right? And even, you know, me and technology is just not friends. I'm more a people person. And I know you have to embrace certain technology, which we're doing now, and we do it, and we do stuff. But for me, what I pride myself on as a business within recruitment is that personable experiences. I pride myself on finding, for instance, yourself and the clients, Scarlett, the right fit of a culture of a person. Like, what's your values? What's their values? Do they align together? Is that the type of culture you want to be in? You know, and you can only, and so I will always make sure I go out to my clients and I see, hear and feel their culture. I can't do that on a telephone, right? You know, you can get a little bit of a grip, but that's only one person that I'm speaking to within the business. Whereas if I go into the business and then the receptionist greets me, and then you walk through the office and other people either don't look up or they say hi, or you just get a feel for the environment. Does that make sense? And you'll only do that by going. So, you know, you still, whilst technology is great, you still need that personal experience. And for me, that's what I feel like why our candidates stay, because I get the right fit for people. You know, some people, you know, I can talk about our Thomas, myself, you know, Asperger's, he hates people. So he'd rather be in an environment where no one's talking and everyone's head down, and he'd be great. You know, he probably only speaks more because he's got me as a mum and I don't shut up. But also he works for me. So being in this environment and speaking to people and thinking, it's really brought him out of his shell. Does that make sense? But, you know, I know in school, like, he'd just be sitting with his head on his desk, and it's like, he didn't like that because of sensory issues and whatever. So by knowing that and understanding the candidates as well and the environment, because there's no right or wrong answer. It's what suits them, each person, individual, and it's about tailoring the needs, do you know what I mean, to everybody. So yeah, I think from that side of things, that's where it is good. Yeah. I've
got to ask, you've been through this process with somebody that's been who is very entrepreneurial. Has it enlightened your entrepreneurial bones as well? Has it made you think that somewhere along the lines in your business career you might start something?
Maybe. I've never been involved in businesses in any way before, so this is my first experience. So it's definitely opened my eyes, and it's definitely made me realize how hands-on you have to be and how on the ball you have to be. You know, you kind of have to be everywhere at once. So yeah, I think it's a really cool thing to do and a really cool thing to say you've done. So maybe in the future.
But you're thinking first, I need to get some experience in some area, which I think most people do, right? It's not many of us just start a business. I did. That was me. I started my first business when I was 11, Scarlett. And then straight out of university, I started 2 businesses, and boom, I was away. But most people will go into work first. I think that's fair to say, isn't it, Diane? Because they want some kind of understanding of how you do this thing called business first. It's a rare creature that starts really young and just goes for it, etc. But I'm glad you've had this experience. It seems like it's given you some really great ideas as well.
You're a confident person, Scarlett, as well, but I feel like I get a feeling that if it's built your confidence, would you say? It's built your confidence. Like, especially doing that event where you had to present to business owners, you know, what were your apprehensions before that? And like, how did you come away from it?
Yeah, I was very nervous leading up to it. You know, the whole placement so far had been working up to that. So it was kind of a big moment. And I was very nervous. I think it's kind of the nerves come from maybe feeling a bit silly because you're not used to being in that environment and you're kind of talking to people who are used to being in that environment. So yeah, just pretending like you fit in, I think helped. Like just pretending like I was one of them, one of you, I should say. And you know, it really helped build my confidence because then you're just talking to people basically. It's like having a chat. So yeah, my confidence definitely built over the time.
So think about that as well when you go for an interview, you know, prepare, like obviously understand the client, look at the website, know what they're doing, have your own questions prepared, but everyone's just a human being, Scarlett, no matter who they are in the world, what level they are, and the more you feel, if you feel you deserve a seat at the table, then you should be at the table, should we say? Does that make sense? And if you have that inner belief in yourself, then people will believe in you. Nobody got us where we were because somebody handed it to us on a plate. We got here through hard work, through believing we could do it. And so if you can take anything away, is have that own self-belief. Don't let that imposter syndrome creep in and, you know, go, oh, I can't do it, because you can. You step before yourself, you realise that anything can be done. So the world's your oyster now. You can create your journey, your path, your career, and it can be whatever you want. So if you was to say what your dream job was, if anybody's listening to what it could be, what would your dream job be in the next few years?
I would love to be on a marketing team, working with like-minded people like me. Honestly,
so quite a big team.
I'm quite open to anything because I really don't know. Like you said, I'm just starting, and I think it's important to kind of say yes to everything. But I would love to be on a marketing team, like achieving things with people. I would love that.
Cool.
So Richard Branson, he's got a quote, hasn't he? And it says, say yes to every opportunity, even if you don't know how, and let you
work it out afterwards.
Fake it till you make it, basically, Scarlett. Most people do.
Yeah, there's a massive difference. I think people get that quite confused a lot of the time. I mean, I understand, like, you know, people are looking for authenticity these days. And so what, you know, there's kind of been a bit of a backlash against that as a kind of statement, fake it till you make it, because people feel like, you know, they don't want to buy into somebody that isn't authentic. But at the same time, in most situations, until you've gone through that situation once, you haven't gone through that situation, right? And I can tell you just from stuff like, you know, having worked on radio and whatever, the first time you sit and you talk to 300,000 people on a radio station, you've never done it before until you've done it. So the first time you do it, you are terrified, right? There's no doubt about it. You're going to be terrified, but you have to some extent, fake it until you understand exactly what you should be doing in that situation, right? So, you know, there's always going to be an element by which you're going to have to draw on some resource, have some courage that's not necessarily there. And business, that's the other thing about business. You know, business goes in waves, doesn't it? Right? Yeah. A lot of people out there at the moment are finding business difficult. The end of 2025 wasn't a great time for a lot of people in business. But that is where, you know, drawing on your experience from the past, what it requires in order to dig deep, and things like resolve and stuff like that, they come into play as well, right? And those are things that you learn through time and experience, but you learn them through doing practical stuff like this. So I'm really pleased that you've had this opportunity to get ahead of, you've got to think you've got ahead of a lot of your other students that you're at university with, because you've had this kind of practical experience, etc. Let's finish on, shall we? giving it one more push, because we want to make sure that this campaign goes off with a great start. So tell people, where are they going to help and give money?
Okay, so I would head over to the UK Unplugged website. There's a whole donate section there, so you can just click on that and it's super easy to do. You can also go on LinkedIn to Diana Powell's page. She has loads of links there where you can donate to. It's super easy. You could also visit any markets that we have. If you follow the Instagram or even follow any of our LinkedIns, you'll be able to see what events we have coming up, any markets that we have where you can buy the product, and then also attending these events, because that's fun for you and fun for us. So it's a great outcome.
So we're plugging Unplugged.
Yeah.
So the website is, for people that want to look it up, it's ukunplugged.org. That's the website. Okay. Just ukunplugged.org. Head over there. It explains straight away what these boxes are, what they look like, what the whole thing's involved. There's a button right at the top. It says donate. Press that button. That's as simple as that. Then you start donating your money, etc. There's a section on there if you want to volunteer, if you want to get involved in terms of partnership or sponsorship or whatever. Click that button as well. Get involved in one of those areas. We will have other people that are involved in this coming up in the next few weeks on this as well. So if you've had your interest piqued a little bit but want to know even more, I don't know why, you should just go and spend your money, then do come back and find out from somebody else. Right? Got to do your best Bob Geldof. That's a reference you probably won't understand, Scarlett, but if go and watch, Google Bob Geldof Live Aid, and you'll get it. Right? That was probably the best example we ever had in sort of popular culture, wasn't it, of someone really passionately, for the first time on TV, national TV and whatever, actually getting through to people and asking for money. It was amazing. The whole story around Live Aid, which is recirculating at the moment because it's like 40 years, 40 years, is one of great encouragement to anybody that's trying to raise money. Scarlett, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being chocolate hazelnut icing as well.
The best flavour.
It's not only the best flavour, I think it's quite possibly, and this is no offence to any of the other people that have come on, I think it was possibly one of the best answers we've ever had as well.
Yeah, it is 100%, Scarlett. It was.
It's both creative, fun, and entertaining all at the same time. We will be back soon with another one of these, but thank you for watching. Thank you for giving your time. If you're listening to this and you'd like other people to donate and get involved, do share the links for this so that other people can find it and listen to the whole story again. But for now, from Diane, Scarlett and myself, thank you for watching DCT's The Icing on the Career Cake. We'll be back soon with another episode. Bye for now.